Hello again there, everybody. This is going to be Jun League number 111. So if you want to know about the decisions that went into this specific orientation of the deck, feel free to watch the first couple of minutes in Jun League number 110. I finished recording that video just moments before this one. They'll be separated by a couple of days on YouTube. But if you're watching here live, thanks for staying around. And same deck list as last league. So again, if you're online, you can just watch the last couple of the first couple of minutes in the last video. And if you're watching this as a standalone, this is the current modern metagame that has incentivized me to put this specific list together. So this is 1 through 15. And without further ado, let's just jump into it. Need something to eat the 23,000 points at. Yeah, I've had on my very low priority to-do list figure out what to do with channel points. There are a few like channel improvements that I've been wanting to make, but just haven't had the time or motivation to do it. So eventually I'll think of something. If you got any ideas, let me know. Dono leagues or matches with viewers. Yeah, those are two things that I've considered. I don't know about I guess like matches with viewers because I get nervous talking to people. At least talking to them live, that is. Like breaks the fourth wall. I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for that. Alright, let's go first. I'll play you. Yeah, that could be another cool one. We're going first with an Inquisition. Sorry, with a Thoughtseize and Dragavan. If we had another land, this hand would be good. We're playing against Luris. If this is against Hammer Time, this hand could just be the nuts, assuming we find lands. But if they kill the Ragavan, it's so bad. This is good too. So we don't have anything to do on turn 1, but we are on the play, which makes that a little bit less bad. I think I'm just going to bottom the Goyf, keep the Terminate versus the Luris deck. I'll lead on Verdant, say go, probably get Overgrown Tomb, then Blackleaf Cliffs into either Terminate or Bob. Usually it would just be a Slam Bob on turn 2, but given that we've got a Liliana in hand, Liliana is best when it can Edict onto an empty board. So if I want to prioritize making sure the board is empty, that would lean towards me wanting to Terminate. Prismatic Vista. Having revealed Luris, I guess that does narrow down what it could be, but I'm not even certain. I guess it could be some snow-based, like, Bring to Light deck. That's like playing Tybalt. That would be my guess right now. Oh, it's Mill. That makes sense too. We've got Terminate for a crab, Liliana to shred the hand. Hopefully shred the hand. Kolaghan's Command is a nice reveal. I think I should just for sure get the Liliana rolling, since they're effectively a burn deck, right? So like these pluses are kind of like dealing with a burn spell. Don't think I'll need second Liliana. They just counter spell. Okay, so maybe not Mill in the traditional sense, but Visions of Beyond like screams that it's got to be. a pretty dedicated mill deck. So maybe they're just mill with counterspell. I guess maybe they're trying to turn on their archive traps. I don't actually have any green spells, but if I find one like Tarmogoyf, I'm gonna really want to be able to cast it. So despite Forest being bad with the rest of my hand, I think I should still get it. No archive traps? They have to have archive traps, right? Why Field of Ruin now? Deal. Another land isn't super great. I mean, I guess I know they don't have archive traps, but fetching, just taking a land out of the deck could be bad. I might need that last card. So I guess I'll just plus, ditch the Verdant, play the Mountain. And these Kolaghan's commands probably have the mode of buy a creature back, you discard a card. But we don't actually have a creature to get back yet. So I'll just jam for 2 and then pass. And then if they do have a mill spell, hopefully I can return a good creature. And then getting more blue might mean that they're trying to fix for the Tasha's Laughter, which is the mill until you hit a combined mana cost of 20, right? Which while playing Bloodbraid means I guess it's gonna mill like 10 to 15 on average. Let's see, we went from 8 to, I guess we milled 16. Oh, and it exiles too. Cool. So we can't actually buy anything back, which is relevant. So I guess now I'll just have you discard and shock you because I need to use my mana. I mean, this Liliana might just turn into a Stone Rain. They discarded a Crab. Interesting. Need to find a Tarmogoyf. Thoughtseize is fine as well. What I think I'm going to do is plus the Liliana first, discard the Terminate, such that they discard without the information, and then I can Thoughtseize them, hold up Kolaghan's command. So this is going to attack, put them down to 11. Bolt and Kolaghan's command mean they're at 6. They're going to Surgical Liliana. I don't get it, but okay. There are, I guess, 2 in the deck. Did you exile any? Okay, yeah. So this is a mill 2. And take a card out of the deck that I didn't want. I mean, their hand can't be all lands because they just have been missing land drops. I don't quite understand the Surgical. Somehow all of the Tarmogoyfs are in the bottom 23 cards. I guess there's 1. So yeah, I'm still planning on ditching Terminate. Your Surgical, another thing. Yeah, I mean I'm gonna ditch the Terminate. Tasha's and an Archive Trap. I think Tasha's is actually going to end up having me discard more, but I'm just going to use the Kolaghan's command to have them discard their last card as well anyway. Archive Trap would be enabled by the Field of Ruin. Alright, so I think as long as they don't draw a mill 10 plus 2 turns in a row, we'll have the victory, right? Because we can bolt them and then we have them dead in 2 attacks. Cool. Alright, so against mill with black, I like the Spell Bomb because we can trick an Ancestral Recall into being just a draw 1. We didn't see any of the mill and any of their artifacts if they're playing something like a Mesmeric Orb. I think I for sure want the Ashiok. And then I guess Oof doesn't do anything. Terminate doesn't really do anything. Voidmere will counter Archive traps as long as they spend 0 mana on them, but that doesn't seem great. That seems pretty narrow. I want the Brutality because it basically just takes a burn spell out of their hand. And most other things seem good. I guess I want many answers to crabs, but I mean, as long as I have 7 answers to crabs, maybe I don't need to overload on spot removal, and I can afford to take out Terminate, which makes some sense. And then maybe I should just bring in the Grudge because it's reasonable that they would be playing some more artifacts. I could also be playing something like an Ensnaring Bridge, which would be a reason to bring in Grudge. Liliana does not seem that strong. It looked good in that last game because we were on the play and we were really able to turbo it. But I expect it to be weaker here. Maybe on the play I find a way to sneak it back in. And then I haven't cut any of my threats yet. They're not really in the camp of destroying my threats, so maybe I can cut one of my more expensive ones. Although versus Tasha's Laughter, Bloodbraid actually has some value, right? It's kind of funny. Maybe that's thinking too deeply into it, and I should just cut it. I mean, Bob is good too. It'll mill me 4 or 5, assuming it doesn't just die, but it could also just find me the resources that I need to win, so I don't think I'm cutting those. I guess I could cut a discard spell while I'm on the draw. Sure. The pushes and bolts I'm kind of on the fence about, because if they have the kind of draw that is crabless, like that last game, then they could really be bad, because they don't do anything else. But I guess Bolt does go to face. So we are missing a clock, but we've got basically everything else. I don't know that Ashiok does enough. It can make it so their Field of Ruins and fetch lands are worse. Because if I mulligan, we have the potential for disaster when we could hope to just get lucky. I'm gonna hope to get lucky. I mean, we have to get lucky on a mulligan anyway, so I think I'd rather just guarantee to have 2 good sideboard cards. And an answer to a crab. Okay. So I might... Well, now that I have Mountain, I think I can get away without ever fetching, which would turn on their Archive trap. So what I think I'm going to do is shock the Blood Crypt and then use it to cast a Spell Bomb. Spell Bomb also has some utility in countering Drown in the Loch, right? That's not nothing. Is it Crab time? Soul Guide Lantern, exiling, only Prismatic Vista. Sure. Field, sure. Creature? I might have to just sacrifice the Spell Bomb in an attempt to dig for pressure. If they don't pop the field here, the Ashiok can at least shut it off. They can't have a counterspell or a drown here too, which is big. And while I know my turn is Ashiok, maybe I should just hold the Spell Bomb. But I do think I really have to dig for creatures. So let's just pop it. Because while I'm not casting the creature the turn coming up, if it's that second card down, I'm gonna need it for the turn right after. I'm just trying to draw my card off of this. Then I guess I'll go basic Mountain, cast Ashiok, and then I'm definitely not milling myself. Is it even worth milling the opponent at all? I mean, they don't actually have anything in their yard, so maybe I just don't activate it yet. Another land is not great. Spells, please. Ideally a creature. Jeez. Alright, well, here's an Ashiok. So if they draw a fetch, hopefully this neuters that. Yeah, I'm definitely not milling myself, but while there's nothing in their yard, I don't know that I want to mill them at all. So I just won't. Snapcaster, sure. threaten the Ashiok. I mean, I do plan on pushing the Snapcaster. Milled an Ancient Grudge. That's funny. I mean, Grudge is going to deny them the card off of the Soul Guide Lantern, funny enough. And then I still don't think I'm activating the Ashiok yet. There just isn't enough that's worth it. I need to find like a Glyph though. Glyph would be the best. Yes, okay. So now I can just cast Tarmogoyf. And then I guess I want to cast the Grudge now so Soul Guide can't actually like use the cantrip. So green, because it has to be green. You can exile my yard. I'll then shock into Stomping Grounds to cast Glyph, but my Glyph will still be bigger than your Snapcaster. Alright, and then I'm not going to push now. There's no real reason to, right? Like, if they want to counter a Fatal Push, even though I have nothing else going on, it's probably fine. There's a crab. Another field. Sure. Glyph gets a little larger. And I'm for sure killing this crab, so I might as well just get that out of the way. Bob's a nice one. Just any additional pressure I think is probably good. Lead on attack. And honestly, I don't know that I'm ever going to want to actually activate the Ashiok. So I might just play the Bob, play the Blackleaf Cliff, say go. And then I do not intend on blocking with the Bob if they attack the Ashiok. I'll just let it go to 1. I think the push is going to be better used on something like a crab. Alright. And while I'm drawing 2 spells a turn, every mana might matter. Alright, well I do want to connect. Them not attacking means they probably plan on blocking. So let's just get this out of the way, especially now that I've drawn a bolt to kill a crab should I need to. Because this has them dead over 2 turns, just with the onboards. Can't imagine there's much that have to get out of this now. Short of like a crap ton of archive traps. And again, I don't plan on fetching ever. So, I'm not going to play a fetch land. They could sacrifice a Field of Ruin if they really wanted to archive trap me. They just couldn't get a land. Sure, I mean, they're still dead in 1 turn. That was a mill 18. I mean, they hit 2 Blood Braids, which contributed pretty well. Alright, sick. Want to know. 1 up, 1 down. let's go first. Darn, if we can guarantee a fetch on top, the same would be good, but we cannot. Better. Let's keep, and I suppose bottom the peatlands. We want to keep 2 lands, including the fetch for the Ren and 6. And then I'll lead on the foothills in case we need to bolt on one. Oh god. They exiled the Stomping Ground. So I guess this could be the Teamer Living End deck, or the Teamer Rhino deck. They have suspended a Crashing Footfall, so that I guess that confirms the suspicion. So let's get Blood Crypt. And then let's see. I mean, I guess I want to continue hitting my land drops. That's a recipe for Ren and 6 as opposed to Tarmogoyf. I mean, if they have a Cascade spell, there's not much I can do about it at this stage, other than hope the Tarmogoyf lines up against it. Next turn, I can Liliana to Edict one of the Rhinos, assuming the Cascade spell they have isn't the instant speed one. I guess they just have neither Cascade spell. Is it Ice? Well, Ice means we can still cast Tarmogoyf, which was probably the plan this turn anyway. Can't get Basic Mountain to cast it. I don't want to get Basic Forest because of this Croxa that I'm going to hopefully eventually be escaping. So I guess that means Stomping Ground. Alright, so I'm again assuming that they don't have the Cascade spell. They could have drawn the Violent Outburst, which would be unfortunate, but Bloodbraid is a good find. I guess this means I'll just get Basic Mountain, because again, not wanting to get Basic Forest. In the event that I hit another Ren and 6, I may want to just cast it so that Goyf grows. So this isn't going down on anything, so I guess I might as well just buy this back immediately. Cast my Bloodbraid and see what we can hit. Another Tarmogoyf, sure. So if they have the Cascade spell, they make 2 Rhinos and can then just destroy my entire board. So the gambit here is, do I want to try to get 4 damage in and risk just basically dying on the spot? Oh, there's actually only instant in the yard, so that does work. Brutal. Well, I'll gamble just to Bloodbraid. It's not often a shock can deal with a Tarmogoyf. Yeah, so I'll run the Bloodbraid out. Hope that they don't have exactly Violent Outburst. In 2 turns, they do just have a Crashing Footfalls coming off naturally. Another Crashing Footfalls has been suspended. Alright, so they'll have 1 coming up next turn. This is not usually how this deck plays. I've got to imagine that's what they just drew. We're also a turn off of ultimating this Ren and 6. They decided to fire the Bloodbraid instead of pinging the Ren and 6 at all, which is interesting. Alright, well they added a fetch of their own, so I guess I'm just gonna lead on attack. See how far that gets me. There's already creature, so I guess if I cast Croaks, that doesn't actually change the math at all. There's also already an instant, so same is the case with the bolts. All right, take your 3, and then I guess I guess I'm still casting the Croxa, right? I'll leave double red available for the lightning bolts. Alright, so it's kind of curious if I actually want to buy this fetch land back, because we may want the cards in the yard in order to escape the Croxa. So I think I'm actually just going to pass. No, that can't be right? Because assuming this red and 6 gets to emblem, all the lands matter because they're just additional copies of Lightning Bolt, which could just go to face and kill the opponent. So let's buy it back. Could have played the Liliana here, but again, with the Ren and 6 presumably ultimating, the lands are actually relevant. Aw, Petty Theft. I guess that ruins that plan. But they are cardless now. They've got some Rhinoceroses coming off of Suspend. Alright, they've got some more in a few turns. Alright, so it's looking like the opponent's plan here is simply to flash in a 3-1. I think the plan for me is Edict with the Liliana and then attack, because they can't actually double block if they've only got one creature, so it makes sense to do it this way. They'll be able to kill the Liliana with the Brazen Borrower if they want, but that does not seem like that big of a concern to me. Flash in your 3-1. Fine. Bolt your 3-1. Sure. Alright, so if I attack now, they can attack me back for 4. But with Croxa coming down the line next turn, I think that is a damage trade I am willing to take. We're hoping to fog, I guess, an interactive spell or just more rhinos next turn. And I think I'm going to fetch a basic forest to get the Ren and 6 into play. And honestly, I'm just going to ping them. It's a damage race at this point. Let's get all the damage in. Next turn, if the Ren and 6 is left alive, I can combine it with the Lightning Bolt to kill their last Rhino. We're 2 turns away from more Crashing Footfalls. Just attacking me, okay. So I guess what I should do is lead on the Croxa to scope out what they have on their hand. Their yard has creature, sorcery, instant land. So Glyph is going to be a 4/5 no matter how we look at it here. So I guess I could always lead on the plus because that gives me just as much info. Violent Outburst is the worst case. It's a Petty Theft though. Okay. So I'll just discard Verdant very easily. So Brazen Borrower is dangerous in the sense that it could just eventually kill me. But, I mean, we have a fairly significant clock of our own in Croxa. Red, black, black. Just get rid of everything here. So they'll go to 8, have no attack, And then Brazen Borrower can't actually block either. Do I want to kill this Rhino? I don't think so. We already kind of just stonewall it. I could get basic Swamp to cast Tarmogoyf and be able to cast Lightning Bolt. And then Bolt can kill the Borrower pretty easily, and then we'll just have two things in play that outsize the Rhinos and the Liliana in play to Edict the Rhinos. That seems like not much can go wrong. Yeah, I'm into it. Get a basic Swamp, hold up the Lightning Bolt. And then just like let this Rhino live. I can Edict it next turn. You can flash in your 3/1. I'll bolt it. Alright, so it's the top of your deck or bust. Rhino's coming in next turn, but I've got lethal on board. So if they find a land, they just die. And I guess they have. So not usually how game 1 plays out, but I'm happy it did. Void Mirror, obviously excellent. That's about all of the slam dunks. I guess Brutality can take a Cascade spell out of their hand. Doesn't do much after that, though. I guess Terminate is just another way to kill Rhinos, which I guess makes it better than Lightning Bolt. There's not much I wanna leave in. I guess Liliana's could be kind of soft. They do kill Rhinos, but that's kind of the same job as Terminate. But I guess this does it at instant speed. Should they have something like a Violent Outburst? So maybe Terminate is just better. Terminate is again conceding a multi for 1, but it might just be a necessary evil. Sure. I mean, I could bring in Plague Engineer, because this is just another way to trade with Rhinos. We could also name the Brazen Borrower. It's not insane. It does make Bolt better as well, because like if you can name Rhino, bolts can actually kill the Rhino, but seems loose. So the ideal case is we can defend the Void Mirror. They do have outs to it. They can petty theft it, most notably, and they've got various evoke things that can deal with it. This hand can't possibly be it. We have Peatlands to cycle with Ren and 6, but that's so miserably slow. Yeah, keep. I think I'm just gonna bottom a Terminate. Keep the lands that cast the important spells. We can Inquisition on 1, Bob on 2, hopefully. Ooh, let's do that instead. I was about to mention that the Inquisition might be better on turn 2 anyway, because that's the pre-Cascade turn. And assuming they don't have multiple Cascade spells, this gives us the most chances at the highest odds at hitting. Alright, well, attack. If this connects, we're going to get to both Inquisition and Dark Confidant, which could be big. If this doesn't connect, then things get dicier. If their answer is petty theft, then we'll just replay Ragavan and Inquisition. But if they've got something like fire, 1 to Ragavan, 1 to me, then that's probably the worst case, because then we're not interacting with them while developing our game plan. So let's just hope it connects. They are in the tank, huh? Well, it's not ice, but I guess if it was ice, they would have wanted to use fire. Stomp. Okay, that makes sense too. So now we're in that dilemma of, do I deploy Dark Confidant or do I take their Cascade spell? I think I'm going to try to take their Cascade spell. Because I just fall very, very far behind, assuming they have any of their 8+ copies. But if they've only got one, this looks great. If they've got more than one, we were losing anyway. They've got Shardless Agent as their only Cascade spell. And that's it. Well, I guess I'm taking the Cascade spell. Their hand is quite good, though. Yep. So I can Fatal Push this, which is probably the plan. Oops. In which case, I am probably just taking a bunch of life to do it. So, Overgrown Tomb. Because I want to be able to Blackleaf Cliffs and play the Bob. If I draw something like Inquisition or Thoughtseize, I'm going to want to do that anyway. Like, I can't fetch Basic Force with this. Not that I would want to. So I'm just going to Overgrown Tomb it now. Where's the Overgrown Tomb? Oh, it's in hand. Brutal. Alright, well, I mean, we've got the green source anyway, given that it's in hand. So I guess I could just get Basic Swamp and not sweat it too much. So, more lands. I guess I just want all my lands to come in untapped, so I'll play the Blackleaf. They have Fury, but we don't know of a red card that they can pitch to it yet. Also, just be a 2-for-1 at this stage, or in our favor. So not super worried about the Fury. They could just they probably just Brazen Borrow it so I don't draw a card if they don't find anything else. They could flash an Endurance as a clock, which would be annoying. Yeah, they're just bouncing this thing. Come on, spell. That's a good one. I guess I just do that. Get this out of the way. There we go. Liliana, not bad. We can ditch the Bloodstained Mire with that. There goes the Fury, okay. Can't cast their Endurance or Brazen Borrower. Attack. Brazen Borrower couldn't attack or block anyway, but... Can we just draw our Croxa here? We can, like, ditch it to the Liliana and just immediately escape it out from under Endurance. That'd be sick. I saw black-red and thought that was it for a sec. I got excited. Alright, so this looks like attack. See what happens. If they try to flash in an Endurance to block, I'll terminate it. And then I'll play Bob and plus the Liliana. If this is a instant speed Rhinos, I'll be sad. But yeah, I think the opponent did it correctly. Because now I would have to discard the Terminate. And I'm definitely casting the Dark Confidant. So it's like, do I even plus the Liliana? I think I just don't, because I want to be able to kill whatever they flash in here. And this was the reason why I was saying how I wanted Terminates over Lilianas, because if they have the flash threats, I need to be able to kill them. All right, I'm gonna let this ability resolve, and then Terminate, so that way Terminate goes to the yard. I guess I could actually just wait. Right, I don't need to do this now for any reason. Subtlety doesn't deal with instants and sorceries. Yeah, I guess I could wait. Maybe this impacts some amount of decision making. I mean, the moment they find a Cascade spell, I'm definitely in trouble. Just hard cast a Fury. That's bad as well. Let's see how they want to split it, though. Like, if they kill my creatures, ping Liliana, and then intend on attacking Liliana, I could kill Endurance like this, and then use the Liliana to kill the Fury. Which puts us at parity, but they've got Brazen Borrower hiding away, and their average draw's got to be insane. So I'm not liking the spot unless we draw exactly Bloodbraid Elf. That was nutty. Yeah, that was obviously the absolute nut draw on the deck. Into Void Mirror, no less. Jeez. Alright, well, we are now insulated versus Rhinos. That was absurd. And then Brazen Borrower can't block what we're doing on the ground. We're no longer worried about their Cascade stuff. I mean, they can cast, they can just hard cast all of their elementals now, so that maybe that's something to be worried about. Alright, we can play that. Plus this. Maybe playing the land was bad, because in the event they've got another Petty Theft, we would be forced to discard the last thing in hand, so I actually should not have played that land there, especially because I wasn't actually hurting for mana. So that was a slight error that definitely could have hurt, but I got lucky and did not get punished. Here comes a Brazen Borrower, which I assume is intended to take out the Liliana. They just scoop. Nice! Alright, well I don't usually 2-0 this matchup, but every once in a while it feels nice. We found the quick match too, sick. They revealed Luris. This hand is marginal. We've got the turn 1 Ragavan, although it is on the draw. Oh, and it's burn. This could be rough. This hand is not super well equipped to pick up a W versus burn game 1. Terminate on top will help. Here's a Ragavan, which I am definitely intending on blocking with should they give me the opportunity. If they have a Searing Blaze, I might just cry. But I mean, I can't not play it. Disgusting. They gave us a swamp, which is nice. They know about the Terminate. 7 cards in hand, say go. I doubt they're gonna want a Boros Charm to protect the Goblin Guide over just like hitting me for 4 with the charm. So I'll pass to Terminate on their turn. I'll let their trigger resolve. Oh, they just straight don't attack. Yeah, makes sense to me. Spike. Yeah, I'm still gonna terminate. Reason being is I want this Liliana going upstairs. Clearly their hand is full of burn spells, especially given they haven't played a land this turn. So every plus that I can eke out of this Liliana is a burn spell that doesn't smack me. Goyf is an interesting draw. That if that's gonna let me clock them, which is also quite important. So I now think it's no longer clear what I should do here. I mean, I definitely have to find Basic Forest at some point because my threats are all green. Kind of rough. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure what I should do. I'm not really in a position to attack. Given that's the case, I think I'd rather just get the Liliana in. And if they find something like a Eidolon of the Great Revel, or an Eidolon of the Great Revel, having the removal for it in play means I won't take damage to it. So really not certain what the correct line was here. In the event I need to fetch Basic Mountain, I should keep the Mire around. And then next turn I'll fetch for Basic Forest with Verdant. There goes another Searing Blaze. I mean, I can hope their hand is just full of stuff like that. Bolt me. Yeah. I mean, the downside of not playing the creature is if they draw a haste creature, they'll be able to convert it into damage. But again, they've just got spells in their hand, so every plus of a Liliana I can get off is a spell that they don't have. But then I'm not clocking them with the Goyf, but I'm also not really in a position to attack. So, I mean, there's not really a good way to go about it, I don't think. Alright, plus. And I have to go to 3. They discarded a Lightning Bolt. Well, there's no way that's good for me. They just, like, have another bolt, right? Alright. Bloodbraid attacks faster. And then if we hit like an additional threat, we can attack and still be insulated versus a hasty threat. But yeah, they just kind of had the burn curve out of creature into Searing Blaze into only burn spells that go to the dome. All right, we obviously want the Brutality. Dislike the Dark Confidant, obviously. I would like to cut the Thoughtseizes when possible. So the slots that get freed up are 2. So I guess the consideration is a mix of Collector Oof and Terminate. Oof literally just as a 2/2, or Terminate because an instant speed kills the thing. I guess they are on the Luris plan, so there's even some merit to Spellbomb. Thing is, Spellbomb is it's 2 mana cycle, right? So how often is that going to be good when we're not competing versus specifically the Luris plan? I think maybe I'm wanting another Terminate and then maybe a Spellbomb. I don't think Grizzly Bear is where I want to be. Let's just do this, and then get to Beyond the Play, which will obviously be good. Let's go first. Let's see a 7-card hand with the Collected Brutality. Brutality gets a lot worse when you have to mulligan to it. Oi. So this hand is painful. I think I'm gonna mulligan. Like, I have to pay 3 to put this into play. I can kill the first thing, but then I have to Nurturing Peatland to get the Renin 6 out. That's just way too painful. This hand is similar, but I think better. We can Inquisition on 1, we can then Tarmogoyf on 2. We can have Fatal Pushes for all of their creatures. I think I'm just going to bottom the Liliana. Say done. Get my basic Swamp. cast my Inquisition on one. They mulliganed as well, which is a help. We can't cast a Renin 6 on turn 2 by getting Swamp, but that's not the plan anyway. So I almost don't want to take creatures here because I've got so many Fatal Pushes. Oh, but if they're going to have this many creatures, then I guess I'll take a creature. I guess I'll take a Goblin guy. The Channelers are more problematic in that they can fly, but Gwaif is going to do 2 damage now. Yeah, I think I'm going to prevent the 2 damage now, because if I can find any removal spell after this, I can deal with all the channelers anyway. Yeah. I mean, this could be bad, because short of these first 2 points, Gwaif would do a pretty good job at stonewalling the rest. I mean, we're going to stonewall it now. Just cast a 3/4. It being a peatland is a little annoying. So they're going to get to Lava Spike, Surveil. If they find a land like that, they'll have 3 types and can Surveil a couple of times. Brutal. How to imagine the shock. Yeah. So this has got to be just like Channeler number 2 and Lava Spike, right? To which I'll probably just Fatal Push both of these things. Alright, so if they find any other type, they're getting in for 3. There goes a creature. That doesn't count. This is just GG? I don't think so. We're definitely not ahead. I mean, they still have Dragon's Rage Channeler and eventually access to Luris. Them not hitting Delirium here was big. Another peatland. Well, I'm definitely just going to use the turn to Fatal Push these things, so I guess I should just do it now so if they find more spells, they don't get additional Surveil. Yeah. So they're definitely on the back foot. I'm going to have to go to 13 to deploy second Tarmogoyf, which is quite the clock. This is still just a 1/1, which is good. I mean, any instant changes that. I guess that's fine. I could actually sacrifice an Nurturing Peatland to have the Blackleaf Cliffs come in untapped. I'm paying a life to cast the Tarmogoyf anyway. So it may actually make sense to do that. The only thing is if I find Bloodbraid Elf, I can no longer cast it. But needing to take 2 life off of a Bloodbraid just to cast it while I already have access to 2 Glyphs makes me just not even want to cast the Bloodbraid unless I'm winning that same turn. And I'm almost definitely playing Tarmogoyf over anything else. Like, even if I find Brutality, they could just bolt me. But I guess they don't have a bolt because they would have just done it last turn to attack with a Channeler. So the read is they don't have an instant. So I guess if I found exactly Brutality or a Fatal Push or a Bolt, then I'd want to actually Bolt. So yeah, I guess I will just lead on Sacrifice this. Alright, and it ended up not mattering. Alright, so Blackleaf Cliffs. I'll attack. Got to imagine they're taking it. Yep. And then I'll go to 13 to cast another 4/5. This does not put them dead, but it does turn off fetching if they don't intend on blocking. And they binned twice. Sure. I guess that blocks. I mean, they're now at 8, so now they're forced to block. So if I actually cast the Bloodbraid, They go to 9 and are no longer forced to block because this is a free block on the Bloodbraid. So I'm actually just going to attack. Because this forces a chump. Yeah, I don't know why they would have brought in Core Firewalker. I've never known anyone to do that versus Jund. Maybe they were thinking I was more black-red based, which I guess could then make some sense. And I guess now I could just like second main phase Bloodbraid going to 11. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if I find a spell next turn, I'm going to want to be able to cast it. Yeah. Really, really weird spot where I think casting the second main was actually correct. Because again, like this was a free block, so they were not actually forced to jump if I had cast this pre-combat. So you'll go to 5, sure. Sure. Yeah, I don't know why they brought in Core Firewalker. So as is, they're still in chump territory. Sure, you go to 6. So if I attack, all Firewalker gets put in front of Bloodbraid. They chump a Tarmogoyf with the Swift Spear. They take 4, going to 2. The board is then Core Firewalker versus 2 Tarmogoyfs. That seems like a real good spot to be in. So I will just attack all. If I find removal, it gets a lot easier. Like that. Okie dokie. Game 3. Alright. Maybe I should bring in a Terminate over a Liliana just because I'm on the draw and Terminate is cheaper. I could definitely see that being the case. Yeah, sure. Let's see, a 7-card Brutality hand. I'm going to assume the opponent took out their Core Firewalkers, so we lose our little advantage there. We've got Inquisition, Liliana, and a Pulse. We are missing a threat. If they've got a 1-mana creature, we could fall behind. But this hand is very disruptive, and I think I like it. We're missing a threat, and that's about it. So, gonna really hope this isn't a Goblin Guide. If this is a Goblin Guide, we're not just dead, but it will be a lot harder. Okay, that's still bad. And then if we see a handful of stuff like Searing Blaze, I mean, I'm just gonna let it be, right? Because we don't really care about it at this moment in time. They've got Firewalker again. There's lots of 1-mana stuff. So assuming they eventually find the land, Boros Charm does the most damage. But given the Spirit in play already, I think I just want to take the 1-mana stuff to try to make their turns clunkier. Also, assuming I eventually get to this Liliana, I want them to cast their spells as slowly as possible, so that way Liliana has time to eat their hand, which means I want to leave them with the more expensive stuff. Ideally, they just don't find the land here, but if they don't find the land, they're drawing more burn, so... Just bolt target me, yep. Get that prowess trigger. Did you find the land? Apparently not. Okay. I could cast Red and 6, but again, I'm trying to take all of their cheaper spells out of hand. They found another Skewer. So now, assuming they find the land, do they just go Core Firewalker? If they go Core Firewalker, Liliana gets worse, but I guess I still have Like Kolaghan's Command. I guess I can't kill it with Kolaghan's Command, but I can kill it with Pulse. So if they find the land now, they can still only cast one spell, which I guess means they would be casting Boros Charm. Although they could hit me for one and then go Skewer Skewer, which would put me pretty low. What would even be the correct line for them? If they find a land, would they go Skewer Skewer second main, or would they go Boros Charm? I think they would probably go Boros Charm in hopes that they eventually find a way to damage me. So if that's correct, then maybe I should just take the Boros Charm, but then Skewers go after the Liliana. So it's close. It's just definitely not Firewalker. Almost definitely. There's the argument of take Firewalker because it's not a creature, because it is a creature, and then Liliana can Edict a Swift Spear onto an empty board. But there's no way they're playing Firewalker here, right? Yeah, so they can put me to 7, then the board is this versus the... Yeah, I'm going to take the Boros Charm. That could definitely be wrong, though. And then we're going to hope they don't hit a land again, which means they're drawing spells, so... Not really an ideal case. Okay. So let's see what they do. Alright, sure. Alright, so this is going to get Stomping Ground, first green, second red. We've already got double black rolled up. Alright, what do we draw? Brutality would be insane. Okay, we don't hit it. So, I mean, Core Firewalker actually does the most damage to us, believe it or not. Liliana isn't going to get a whole lot of value plussing anymore. Unless I just Liliana and plus here, and then they, for whatever reason, decide to go at the Liliana. So I could land Maelstrom Pulse, Core Firewalker. If they don't find the land, they would attack me, Skewer Skewer. That's a total of 7, put me to 5. But I still have no pressure to follow up. But I mean, 5 is a lot better than 4. So that line would have me at 5. If I go Liliana Edict, they sacrifice Swift Spear. They attack me to 10, go Skewer Skewer, put me to 4. I mean, I could also just Kolaghan's Command now, which would be Shock the Swift Spear, have you discard a card. That's not super unreasonable. Let's do that. They'll gain a life, but whoop-de-doo. Was this eats a Skewer and kills Swift Spear? Sure, you'll gain a life. So their hand is Skewer, and that's it. This is gonna be close. I need to find a threat. Brutality would be great too. But I just need to find a way to close. Oh god, they found Channeler. So now I might have to take the turn off to kill that with the Pulse. Because like, if I Edict them, there's just no way they're not keeping the Channeler. So this puts me to 10. I guess Skewer me now. Yeah. Channeler was a good draw, especially because they get to Surveil too. Jeez. Alright, let's see you put one in the bin. Nope. Alright, so I go to 7. Ragavan, huh? So this has protection from red. So if I play the Ragavan, I can't block. I could fetch going to 6 to cast Pulse and the Ragavan, which means I would take 2 going to 4, but then I would have Ragavan in playing and start clocking them, making some treasures. That feels like it has to be worth it. It's not super promising. It's Oriz, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. So, am I pulsing or am I casting Liliana? I guess I should... I like have to pulse, right? Because I need the channeler to die. Like, for sure. Alright, so do I get forest or do I get swamp? I just don't need multiple green, basically, ever. So I guess I'll get swamp. Especially better if I find a Croxa and need to escape it. So... Maelstrom Pulse, Channeler. I wonder what they would have put on top. I mean, Boros Charm is obviously the worst case because we die immediately. I wish I could say this is gonna be close, but they're very far ahead. They have to brick for a significant period of time. It was just a bobble? Why would you put that on top? Sure. Your attack is free, because I cannot block. So, they're gonna see their top card. We can't steal their top card. Yeah, you'll draw a card from Bobble. We find a land, which is obviously not great. In the event I, for some reason, want to cast whatever their top card is, I guess I attack first. Make a treasure. It was a Sunbaked Canyon. Have to kill your creature. Alright, so they're going to draw a Sunbaked Canyon. And I guess I'll get my my Arc Lightning going. And I guess I should keep the land in hand in case I need to ping something and cast the spell that I draw next turn. Like, if I want to plus and like hold up an instant speed Terminator, a push, or a bolt or something. So we know of a Sunbaked Canyon. Oh no, sorry, I exiled the Sunbaked Canyon. So there's not a Sunbaked Canyon. So this is the part where we have to hope they brick for a significant period of time. Alright, I'm at 1. Alright, any burn spell does it now. We just need to hope they find lands forever. Alright, I can't not attack. I mean, attacking puts me dead to haste creatures as well. But, I mean, I just need to... Every turn I'm not attacking them, I'm just giving them more time to find stuff anyway. Took a mire off. Damn, I wish you had drawn that mire. Alright, actual anything does it. Yeah, that does it too. Brutal. Yeah, I mean, I can't even say that we were necessarily that close. We were missing a threat. Yeah, Sunbaked was exiled. Yeah, we were missing a threat. So like, while we had all the interaction in the world, I was really hoping to find a clock, and Ragavan was just not significant enough. We really needed to go for a Bloodbraid. Let's go first. Damn, no lands, can't keep. Well, if the alternative is going even lower on lands, I will pass. I guess we'll just hope this is a Kolaghan's Command matchup. Steam Vents. So I guess Prowess or Murktide. Alright, so it could still be either of the two. And Bolt still kills Tarmogoyf at this stage. So the higher ceiling play is to resolve with Dark Confidant, so I guess I'll go for that. Oops. And then hope for no Lava Dart play. I mean, like I said, Bolt would kill it either anyway, so... Island. So basic island means probably not Prowess. Probably just blue-red Murktide. I mean, if they can't grow the Channeler this turn, I should probably just use the turn to Kolaghan's Command, although the odds this turns it on are fairly high. They just need one type that isn't instant land sorcery. There it is. So this turn will instead be spent on casting Tarmogoyf. And hopefully finding a 1-mana removal spell off of Dark Confidant. We revealed Dark Confidant, not exactly. The good news is Tarmogoyf is fairly large. Murktide's going to be kind of hard to beat from this stage. There goes one Murktide. Yeah, Murktide would be a big problem here, not only because it's huge, but also because it shrinks the Goyf. Looks like they've got it. How big does it get to be? Does it get to be full? 1, 2, 3, yeah, plenty big. At least a 7/7. Our outs to Murktide main deck are Liliana and Terminate, but given that they've got Channeler, it's just Terminate. Got 2 looks at it though. There's instant creature land in the yard, so I couldn't even like attack, try to like Kolaghan's Command to like shock it and add a type. It just wouldn't work. I guess I have Nurturing Peatland that can cycle into it, but again, it's got to be exactly Terminate. There's 2 of them. Oof, so close. Yeah, we're just dead. 10 powers worth of flying. Spell Bomb, Brutality, Terminates, and that's about it. I guess Ashiok has some merit, but not really. Like, it can make it so Murktide's really hard to cast, and it can stop fetching. That's about it. What do I cut? I'm not cutting anything that could possibly answer a Murktide. On the play, Red and 6 is probably too good to cut, but we need 6 cuts. I like cutting some number of discard spells, but not many. Like, they do play some permission. Maybe Brutalities isn't good enough. It's going to be a bad duress a lot of the time. And it doesn't kill a Channeler after it's grown to a 3/3. Maybe in the presence of 4 Terminates, I can shave on a couple Fatal Pushes. Maybe Croaks is too bad as well. I mean, they don't have much graveyard hate, so, I mean, it could just be good. You know what? Kolaghan's Coin doesn't do much, right? Kolaghan's Coin just really doesn't do much. Let's do that. Go first. I mean, we've got Monke and Drennan 6 and a Bolt. Should I be afraid of Blood Moon? Probably. We're on the play though, so I could go Blood Crypt, Basic Forest, Basic Swamp, Basic Forest next turn to cast Drennan 6. So I can Blood Crypt now. Let's see if they can answer Monke turn 1. Yep. Alright, so they know about Dark Confidant. Well, the ceiling on that working is much higher than the ceiling on a Renin 6. Renin 6 is less fragile, but I am aching for actual cards at the moment, not lands. So let's see if this works. Definitely more fragile, but the ceiling is higher. Channeler, sure. They have a land just there, so if they can add one more type, Renin 6 no longer pings the Channeler, but we can always bolt the Channeler. I guess Serum Visions grows Channeler. This could be Thought Scour, which also probably grows Channeler. Monkey. Alright, well, this is going to work out well, right? We can kill both of their creatures and have active Dark Confidant. We revealed Nurturing Peatland. We need to get a red source, though, so that way I can cast both Renin 6 and Mire. Given that they fetched Steam Vents, I'm thinking that Blood Moon isn't as big a concern. I do definitely want to kill both of their things. I have to kill the Channeler first. If I bolt Ragavan, there's going to be Creature in the yard, which would grow Channeler. So I guess let's see if this resolves. Yes, it does. Alright, so our hand is kind of out of gas. But we had a pretty good turn. I would still like to get a swamp to avoid a Blood Moon blowout. There's an iteration, yep. The Ancestral Recall of Mutter. Not quite as good as Recall, but the closest you're going to get. Spell Pierce is an exile. Oh, they didn't hit a land. That's good news. Alright, so we're reaching the pulling ahead part of the game. We revealed Tarmogoyf. Not bad. Bring back a Verdant. That can get the swamp should we need it. Yeah, so their expressive iteration obviously didn't do what they were hoping it would do. But yeah, Bob's doing the thing. This was the ceiling on the Dark Confidant, and it just kind of goes off. It's another iteration. Yeah. I mean, even if they find a land off of this and they spend a turn killing one of my threats, I'm still pretty ahead on board, which is nice. Wow, they bricked again. That's lucky for me. Alright, I'll get the swamp. My mana situation is kind of irrelevant at this point. So Glyph is how big? 5, 7, 8, 9. If I dash this, yeah, let's dash this. Sure, I'll use the forest. This cuts me off of green, but it hardly matters. Put you to 2. Flip. Murktide. I can't cast a Murktide, funny enough. I guess I'm just going to go downstairs with the Renin 6, so even if they find some kind of sweeper that I'm not thinking of, like there's just no way I can get bitten. So I just like have lethal on board with the Planeswalker. Like there's no 2 unholy heats that gets them out of this, basically. No, 3 if you count the dash. Alright, so on the draw, I'm for sure bringing in Fatal Push over this Kolaghan's Command. I just need to be able to kill Monke on the draw. I mean, we've got 3 bolts, 4 pushes, and I guess Monke to get in the way of Monke. Is there any reason to play Plague Engineer? Probably not, right? Because like it doesn't kill their 3/3 flyer, it doesn't kill their 8/8 flyer, it only kills their Monke, which I've got plenty of answers to. On the draw, maybe Brutality just has another answer to Monke that can maybe act as a duress. I still think this is on the weak side. Let's just submit. Well, I cannot keep a 0 lander, unfortunately. This is better. Keep. And maybe I just bottom the expensive thing. This would be an excellent 7. I need to keep the Liliana as my answer to Murktide. I need to keep my Renin 6 as a way to hit land drops. And then Glyph is just the thing they're probably going to have the hardest time answering. So I think it's between Ragavan and Bloodbraid Elf. And given that I don't have a turn 1 play otherwise, I think I'm keeping the Ragavan and bottoming Elf. So, no Monke, please. Okay, that's not a Monke. I'm going to Mountain first, so that way next turn I can Overgrown Tomb into Ping Channeler, hopefully. Just going to really cross my fingers and hope that they can't grow the Channeler this turn. Which is especially important because if they could eventually Murktide, I need the board to be empty so that the Liliana can take care of it. Thought Scour, target yourself. Makes sense to me. Alright. I imagine the top card's going to the art almost no matter what it is. They just need to build the Delirium. There's Creature. Here's Instant. Land. You're 1 off. You got a sorcery? I guess a realistic holding could be Spell Pierce, which would grow Channeler, right? I guess it's another instant, so it's not guaranteed. Pulse is nice as a backup answer to Channeler. So if they have Spell Pierce, which we know is in the deck because they had it last game, they may grow the Channeler past the Ragavan. I'm kind of wanting to actually just attack with the Ragavan first. If they have another Thought Scour, it could be a disaster. But if they block, this will have a 3/3 with 2 damage on it, and then Renin 6 can kill it anyway. So I actually like offering up the trade. Nice. Alright. So now I do think I will go for the Overgrown Tomb into Renin 6, it'll be real unfortunate if they've got the Blood Moon. But if they don't, we're looking good. I mean, they're on the play, so I wouldn't put it past them to have the Moon in the deck, even if they weren't in the deck game 2. So I'm hoping for no Blood Moon. They've got Island in play already, too. Disgusting. This can get another Island, which makes Blood Moon good. I mean, I'd get cheesed by it, that's for sure. I guess they don't have it. Okay. Back up Liliana. I am going to attempt a Liliana here. They could have Counterspell, Archmage's Charm, take your pick, really. You know, I could just do nothing, but then if their card is Archmage's Charm, they just pull farther ahead with the Archmage's Charm. Because they just draw 2. Alright, so countering with Archmage's Charm makes me happy that I played Liliana. I mean, obviously it's not great for me, but it would have been a lot worse had I just done nothing. I do have a Renin 6 going, which will make their monkeys worse at least. Iteration after you've played a land? Interesting. I guess they're hoping to just cast whatever it is they find here. Renin 6 in play is going to make Monkey worse. Sorcery is a new type, so now Unholy Heat could just nuke Renin 6 in one go. Ragavan entered exile. So this has to be a dash, right? Because otherwise Renin 6 just kills it. Just going at me. Okay. Maybe this means they do have the Unholy Heat and they're just really not worried about the Ren. Flip the card. It's a Bolt. Oh crap, they can actually cast that. That's funny. That's gotta be the only card in the deck that was actually good for them. Although bolting Renin 6 maybe means no Unholy Heat. Ragavan of my own, you say? This could be my best window to resolve a Liliana. The thing is, if I do that, they still have their Ragavan in hand that they can use to dash at the Liliana, and then I may become softer to a Murktide. I've got the pulse for it still. The alternate line is I just go Goyf and Ragavan, just go threat, and let them make the next move. I kind of like that. The issue with that line is then I'm left over with 2 3-mana spells and it becomes a lot harder to double spell. Whereas if I went like a 3-mana spell here on a following turn, which is when they would have counter magic available, I can then double spell into the counter magic. But I mean, resolving 2 threats here seems pretty great, especially when one of them is real hard to kill, and given they bolted the Renin 6, I don't think they've got Unholy Heat. So, as a Blood Moon consideration, let's get Basic Forest. I can still cast Ragavan and Tarmogoyf with the Forest. Let's return the Verdant, get the Renin 6 out of dash range, cast the Tarmogoyf. I could just dash the Ragavan, but I think I like sticking it in play versus counter magic. Like, if they've got a burn spell for it, which is not unlikely, it is what it is. I've just, I guess, missed out on 2 points of damage. So their hand is Ragavan, 5 unknowns, which is a lot of unknowns. No discard spells this game. Channeler has a 3/3. So again, I can attack both. Should they choose to block, Renin 6 can finish the Channeler off. Targeting yourself. Makes sense. I almost think they should be targeting me here because they effectively surveilling for the card that they're drawing, right? I guess if they find multiple Murktides, then they do need a stocked graveyard. We would love to find a 1-mana removal spell. That works too, though, because that will actually allow us to double spell. Maybe connect with the Ragavan. We're not in a world where we're playing around Mana Leak anymore, so let's attempt the Terminate. And then if this doesn't work, if it gets counterspelled or Archmage's Charm, we can then use the Liliana. Oh, it just works. Interesting. Alright, let's, I guess, try to get in. I guess Archmage's Charm could steal a Ragavan. A shock? Yeah, this looks like a steal Ragavan. No? Okay. This is like a Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage would be bad for me, but it's not the end of the world. Thought Scour yourself. Sure. Mill Bolt Ragavan. It's just a Snapcaster as a blocker. Sure. I guess they literally didn't have like an Unholy Heat or something that was worth flashing back, so instead they're just flashing in a Snapcaster to make sure a Ragavan can't hit them. Value. And they're in an interesting position now, because if I minus the Ren and 6 targeting their face, Tarmogoyf is actually lethal on its own. So that feels like the play. And then this is the window to resolve a Liliana. And I do plan on plussing, and I want to keep the Peatland around. So let's play Peatland and then discard the Verdant. We know of a Ragavan in hand, but they just dash a Ragavan trying to kill a Ren and 6. They're going to have to deal with Goyf and a Liliana and a Maelstrom Pulse. They ditch a counterspell. Nice. Iteration. That's a good start. Mishra's Bauble to exile. Okay. You cast a Bauble. Again, we know one card in hand is a Ragavan. Okay. Still one of 2 cards is Ragavan now. Tarmogoyf grows to 6 power with the addition of Bauble. Another iteration. Okay, so their hand is just Ragavan now, and whatever they put into hand with this, and whatever they put into exile for casting this turn. Bolt to exile, okay. I'm gonna kill a Ren and 6 that way. That would add Planeswalker. I'm sorry, there's already Planeswalker. Yeah, they just have to do it this way. But then they die, right? Because we get to kill the Ragavan and then connect for lethal. I mean, Ren and 6 still kills the Ragavan. Nice. Sick. So we beat the Murktide deck. We never had to kill a Murktide. We had answers to the Murktide. So had the opponent found one, I think we would have been fine. Three and 1. Headed towards our 3-2 Jens Trophy. This is looking like a mulligan. We have Fatal Push in the Goy from the Liliana, but we actually don't have a second black source. So a good draw would be a black source. But even then, this isn't that exciting. We're on the play. Nah, I think we can have much more exciting draws on the play. Like if we can guarantee a black source, then this hand looks fine. This might be a little loose, but I'm gonna ship it, especially with Ragavan in the deck. This hand's better. Keep. Bin a fetch land. The opponent has also mulligans, which is nice. So I'll go Shock, Thoughtseize on 1, probably Renin 6 on 2. Oh crap, it's Burn. So this start obviously not great versus Burn. Roiling Vortex though, that I don't really care about. So Searing Blaze doesn't do a whole lot, Bolt doesn't do a whole lot. I guess I'm just taking Eidolon, although I do have lots of answers for creatures. So maybe I do actually just take the Bolt and assume that just allow this Eidolon to be two damage spell, whereas Lightning Bolt is a 3 damage spell. And this does 1 every turn, right? And this could be a problem, but Bolt is more problematic short term, and this match isn't going to go much farther than short term. So we're really looking to find something like a Tarmogoyf. There's the Mesa. Alright, Goyf please. Ding. Nope. More pushes. Got the Renin 6 down. I mean, Renin 6 just really isn't conducive to the kind of game that the opponent is trying to play. So, good luck us. Triple Fatal Push I don't think is going to get there. That was not a card we knew about. Gotta assume the opponent is playing Eidolon here. I guess Vortex would also make some amount of sense. Alright, Goyf please. Hey yo! Ding ding ding. So this does give them a Searing Blaze target, but I have to clock them somehow. Like, I can't just do nothing. Take your 1 point of damage. So it can go Inspiring Vantage, Searing Blaze. I'll take 3, go to 10. Interesting. Did not know about that one. Alright, and Renin 6 is just going to start going down now. Take my 1. Alright, sorcery, instant land already in the yard. No way I can grow it. Let's just get an attack in, I think. Yeah, not playing Eidolon there. Not sure what that's about. I mean, I guess that means they're planning on Searing Blazing. Maybe they also found a Bolt to kill the Goyf. I'm not quite sure. Alright, 1 to you. Blackleaf Cliffs, go. I'm gonna try to avoid fetching if possible. They just didn't cast anything? Deal. Yeah, I mean, they played the wrong land for sure, right? Because they can't Vantage to cast 2 spells anymore. Don't quite understand the line that the opponent took. That's a good one. Oh. Something to note. I should not cast what I hit here. And they could just Searing Blaze it anyway. Do I even do it? I'm just not going to do it. Like, it's an option to cast the card, so I could literally just have it be a 3/2 with haste, but that just gives them a good Searing Blaze target too. So it doesn't even seem that effective. Yeah, I'm not casting the thing off of Bloodbraid Elf, don't worry. I also don't want to give them a good Searing Blaze target, though. I want them to spew on this, so that way this can actually be something that connects. Brutal. So we know 2 of their 3 cards. There's going to be 1 card we don't know about. It doesn't deal 5 if we cast VVE, because remember, this is an optional cast. You can always say no. So it's still a 3 mana. It's still a 4 mana 3/2 with haste. There's the Eidolon, which will grow the Tarmogoyf by a significant margin. We're at 3-4 right now, so we actually get to win, right? So, right, because we get to add creature instant. This is 5, ping you down to 1. Vortex pings you. So I think we're actually golden. I guess as long as they're one of the cards we don't know about is Boros Charm, right? Because we're going to go to 5 here. Yeah, I mean, if your last card's Boros Charm, not much I can do. I need to do this to force lethal. I guess that's not even necessarily true, right? Because we could just hit him for 3 and then, like, get him caught under their own Eidolon. Alright, I go to 4. Hope you don't have a Boros Charm. If I cast Bloodbraid Elf, I guess they Searing Blaze it. So it just literally doesn't matter. Yeah, it just literally doesn't matter, right? I guess it does matter, right? Because if they Searing Blaze, they go to 1, cracking the fetch land. Alright, which yeah, they would go to 5 and then Tarmogoyf does just kill them. So Bloodbraid here is actually correct. And then I will not cast the Cascade spell. I will not cast the Cascade spell. Okay. Well, they didn't want to stick around to see if I was stupid enough, but I'll take it. All right, going to game 2. All right, Brutality for sure. And I think what I did before was I did a split of Terminate and Spellbomb. Were they playing Lurrus? I don't actually remember. They were not. They did not play Lurrus for whatever reason. I mentioned liking Terminate over Liliana because we're on the draw and we need to be able to kill their stuff. Definitely cutting the Bobs, and I believe the Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is still going to be gain 1 life plus information on average, but I still don't think that's quite good enough. This has me needing to bring 1 card in. Yeah, I mean, in the absence of Lurrus, there's just no reason to play Spellbomb. It's probably just better to play another interactive card. This is a lot of devoted removal spells, though. So I mean, I could also just bring in Collector Oof as a Grizzly Bear, but that seems weaker than just keeping it to Ragavan, Goyf, Bloodbraid. Like, what are the odds a bear goes all the way? Pretty low. Also just gives them a good Searing Blaze target. Play Engineer seems okay. I think Collector Oof is probably better because, like, in the matchup, I think the role is going to be just 2/2 most of the time. Like, sure, you can shrink a Goblin Guide or something, but Goblin Guides are going to be stonewalled or they're not going to be stonewalled. So I feel like it's probably not worth evaluating it on that axis. Like, it's probably just which is a better 2/2, and Collector Oof is a mana less, so I think I'd want Oof more than Engineer if I wanted either of them. Yeah, like I don't think a Grizzly Bear is gonna be nearly fast enough on the play either. Oof. Well, this hand is quite clunky. Death Touch decent overall, but I mean nothing in their deck has more than 2 toughness, so 2 power is basically just Death Touch. Yeah, I guess I keep and hope to find the lands. We've got 2 things we can do on 1 mana anyway, so I guess it's between one of my more expensive spells that I'm bottoming. Pulse is obviously going to be better if they've got multiple of the same permanent. But we did see that they have the Roiling Vortex, so I guess Pulse is better versus that. Sure, I'll bottom Liliana. And then I guess we're really hoping to find the land relatively quickly. Hey, Goblin Guide, I have a favor to ask. Damn. Terminate on top? Alright, well, I for sure have to Fatal Push this. Let the trigger get off first. Like, if I cast Ragavan, we could get Searing Blaze, then we basically die on the spot. Hey, Guide. Got a favor to ask. Damn. Alright, well, I'll kill it still. We have a Ragavan to cast. It's not super exciting. Oh, they've got the fetch land too, so they could end step Searing Blaze me. I'm not gonna not cast it. Show me that 6 Searing Blaze. I mean, we're still in it if we can find the land. Brutality is powerful. We've got Goyf as a clock. We've got Terminate, Liliana, Pulse as interaction eventually. The issue is I don't think we're getting to the eventually part. Come on, land. Okay. I almost want to just shock and play the Tarmogoyf. Because, like, we need to start clocking them back, and, like, I would have to shock the Brutality anyway. This stonewalls any haste creatures that could happen. Also, if they find a creature, Brutality can get some extra value. But, I mean, if they just have all burn spells and go to the dome and kill me, then obviously that's bad. That counts. Alright, that's another good reason to have not Brutality that I didn't mention or think about. But I still think Goyf was probably the correct line. So, I mean, Boros Charm +1 kills us. Shock is a bad sign. Just like Searing Blaze plus something. Alright, I'm at 4. Well, we've got Pulse. They don't actually have the mana to pay for the you can't gain life clause. So this Brutality is probably just going to be a game 2. Jeez. Alright, target opponent loses 2 life and I'll gain 2 life. I mean, Glyph is sizable. I mean, if they find a land or 2 in a row, we've got a shot. Okay, well, whatever they found, they're not playing it yet. Painless source of mana? Not quite. Honestly, I guess I'm just holding up Terminate. In hopes that if they find a haste creature, I can smack it down. If I cast Inquisition here, they're just going to respond with whatever it is, assuming it's a spell. Alright, well, it wasn't a spell that they were wanting to cast. They do just die on their upkeep, so if they break again, we win. If they draw a creature, we win. What's it gonna be, Carlos Z? Plays Arid Mesa. Okay. I mean, we attack you for 4. Vortex puts you down to 0. And if you've got a 3-mana damage spell... Correct. Boo. Alright, you had Exaxes. Boo. Alright. Alright, game 3. Our 2 losses this league gonna both be to burn? On the play, does anything change? I don't think so. Still no Luris, so still no real Spellbomb consideration. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna submit. Let's go first. So we are missing pressure and the color of mana. Don't think I can keep. Yeah, this I can keep. It's a little awkward mana-wise. I guess I'm gonna bottom Redundant Liliana. Go turn one Monke, see how far it can get me. I mean, if they Goblin Guide attack, I may just have to block it. So let's hope the plan isn't that. I mean, alternatively, I could just take the hit, get a hit of my own, take another 1 life, get a Liliana into play, which is also quite good. What you got? Nothing. Okay. That could mean they're just intending on killing Ragavan. That's a good draw, obviously. Let's attack, see how far it gets me. And I may just want to fire off the Brutality. I was going to say, because if they had Searing Blaze. But now what do I do? I think I'm just casting Inquisition. I mean, we haven't been able to kill anything with this. Yeah, let's just cast Inquisition. Like, I could get down the Ren and 6, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. So they do have a guide. Got a bunch of Boros Charms. I mean, guide will let Brutality get some extra value, but if they just hold up Skullcrack, like, though they're probably just going to try to cast their 2-mana stuff to be a little bit more efficient. So then maybe I just take Boros Charm because that does the most damage, even though it's a little redundant. Sure. Ideally, I just draw a land next turn, so that way Renin 6 can recoup the advantage that I lose. And we're missing a threat and we're missing land, so I'm not liking the spot. It's going to be close. There's the canyon. Yep, just holding up some instants and sorceries. Fetch land? Beautiful. So I think this is going to get basic forest. I'll just buy it back with Renin 6 immediately. I think I do want to fetch here, because if I'm going to fetch anyway, I might as well not pay the additional life. So there's a forest. I could just Renin 6 start plussing, but I think I maximize my collector brutality by getting these lands back. Which could be an error. Because, like, if I Liliana and plus, though, I have to discard either my Renin 6 or my Brutality, and I'm really not wanting to do that either. So I imagine this is an end step, like, Boros Charm to the Dome. Boros Charm to the Dome. Makes sense to me. There's the guide. There's a guide. So we know their hand is Skullcrack, Helix, and one unknown. Are they gonna kill the thing? No, yeah. Going at me makes sense. Lands, please. Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf is good too. So this turn is looking like Brutality, Escalate, discarding Verdant Catacombs, buy it back, play Tarmogoyf, staying at 11, right? Because I'm fetching and paying life, but I'm also gaining 2. And then Goyf gets to Stonewall the second copy of Goblin Guide. So I guess I'm actually discarding Liliana as well then. Because, like, I need the Goyf, right? And I for sure want to 3-mode this. So I guess I'm ditching Liliana and just casting my hand. I mean, I could not full escalate. I could say kill a creature, take an instant or sorcery out of your hand. I mean, Liliana, like, as soon as they cast all their spells, Liliana isn't worth a whole lot more. So I think I'm okay discarding the Liliana, which also does grow the Tarmogoyf, which isn't nothing. So let's 3-mode it. You. Pay some mana. Discard Liliana, discard Verdant. So their hand is Lava Spike, Lightning Helix, Skull Crack. They all do 3. I could just take the Lava Spike because that's the most mana efficient one, but I can't kill them over the course of a few turns, so they're likely to be able to cast their whole hand anyway. I think I'm taking Lightning Helix because that makes it hardest for them to swing the race, or it makes it easiest for me to swing the race. So let's return Verdant. Get my basic Swamp. Cast Tarmogoyf, which is now a 5/6. Okay, that's what I got. You've got Skullcrack, Lava Spike, and a guide in play. Thing is, I don't really have a good attack until I can get this guide out of the way, unfortunately. I mean, they don't have an attack either, which is nice. Another Goyf. Okay, now I do have an attack. I could sacrifice Nurturing Peatland, buy back the Peatland, and still be able to cast Tarmogoyf, which is reasonable. I guess I could just lead on attack. Tarmogoyf should have lifelink. That would be good. Tarmo Helix. So is there anything that I would cast instead of Tarmogoyf? I mean, I'm buying the Peatland back with Renin 6 anyway, so I just might as well crack it first. Leave all my colors available. Terminate. Well, I would still want to just cast my Tarmogoyf, so I will. This is a Skull Crack. I'm at 8. Do I actually want to go downstairs with this? Put you to 7. That has additional copy of Renin 6 being lethal next turn. That also has Kolaghan's Command being lethal next turn, which I guess would have been lethal next turn anyway, because I could also just ping next turn. I think for the one additional out of Renin 6 being just immediately lethal, I think I will just go ahead and ping the opponent here, because I'm not tapping the Peatland for mana anyway. So I've got 3 cards, one of which is Lava Spike. So they can still kill me here. I mean, I can always just terminate the Goblin Guide out of the way, and then as long as I don't get Deflecting Palmed, I'm good. If Wizards created the card nowadays, they probably would have done it. I don't put it past them. I think it'd be unlikely, but I don't know. Uro exists. Not anymore, at least. Now it's Legacy's problem. Where it's at least a little bit more tame, right? Okay, I'm at 5. If that's all you got, I'm going to terminate your guide and kill you. I could have also gotten back Nurturing Peatland to cast Bloodbraid, which was maybe actually the play. That was a mistake. We got the 4-1, but I think it was actually a mistake, right? Because we would be going to 4 off of the Peatland. They've only got 1 mana available. But if their last card is Path to Exile, they could Path the Goyf, go to 2, and then they're live to drawing a burn spell. So that was a mistake. I should have just gone to 4. But obviously, 4-1. A pretty nice result. I'll do a quick deck tech / wrap up for purposes of the recording, because it is getting late where I am. So we were continuing to test Ragavan. Obviously, like, I use the word test pretty loosely, because I mean at a certain point the power level, like the merit produced by just the power level alone means that it's probably worth playing, which is probably the case for Ragavan. One of the reasons I was skeptical about Ragavan at first is while I don't deny its power level, it can definitely get bricked mid to late game in matchups that can produce board stalls. But I mean, Dash can help it kind of circumvent that if you want to be a little sneaky with it. So I mean, the card definitely has some play going into the mid to late game. But I mean, in the early game, it's for sure a must kill. And then having a must kill on as a 1 mana play is very powerful, because it clears, even if it dies, it clears the way for your next play. So I mean, even as a lightning rod, it's protecting your other stuff, and then if it doesn't die, it just kind of does its thing and is very good. So Ragavan it's impressed. It has impressed me. I don't think it's like ridiculously insane. I think it's very easily to interact with and kill, but I mean, dies to removal isn't exactly an argument, right? Like, you got to look at it from what is the average performance of the card, and I think the average performance of the card is good to great. So the card's good. The rest of the shell, again, I didn't go too far into the deck tech at the beginning of the video, because I did at the previous video, which was Gen League 110, which was recorded right before this one. We were really pushing the plan of having lots of 1-for-1 removal for the various Ragavan decks, for the various Murktide decks, and for the various like Lurrus piles. So we did end up playing versus Murktide once. We never actually had to kill a Murktide, but had we seen one, we had plenty of answers for it. Obviously, like the Liliana's that terminates, the Pulses, sideboard terminates even. So I mean, I feel fair. I feel like this list does fairly well versus the Murktide piles, which was one of the main goals I had for this configuration, and then obviously versus the Ragavan piles, all of this 1 mana removal and the 2 and the 3 mana removal to back it up. It's felt good. I guess the one thing that I will say is there were definitely a few games in the last league and this where I felt a little threat light, and that could definitely be a product of just overloading on so much 1-for-1 removal that there just aren't as many slots for things that kill the opponent. So I mean, right now I'm just kind of leaning on 3 Bob for 4 Gwaif, 3 Ragavan, 2 Bob, 4 Gwaif, 1 Croxa, 3 Blood Raid, which is a decent amount of stuff. But I mean, it's a lot of more fragile stuff. So I mean, there were definitely some games where I felt threat light and removal heavy. So in situations where removal isn't ridiculously necessary 100% of the time, I think this particular iteration could benefit from a couple more threats. But the issue is the removal is necessary a good amount of the time. So maybe this is the correct direction to go in, but only time will tell, and then when time tells, the meta will change, so who knows where we're going. That's going to be it for this recording. Thanks for watching on the YouTube. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. It's a great free way to support what I do on the YouTube channel. If you're watching here live on Twitch, my YouTube channel is linked to my Twitch page as well as listed right here below my big fat head. So that's it for this recording. If you're watching on YouTube again, thanks for stopping by, and until next time, Jund them out.